We're on.
Oh, already?
We are on.
Oh, hey, hang on loose.
This time in English.
Yes.
Which
No habla español.
No habla español, pero se habla alemán, ¿ok? Mi nuevo amigo Bernhard. Bernhardo.
Bernhard. Very good. Very good.
Bernhard.
Yeah.
From where in Germany exactly?
The city is called Nuremberg, which is the northern part of Bavaria, and it has the highest density of breweries in the world. I saw here in Panama some artisanal breweries. We are the land of artisanal breweries. A good friend of mine owns a family business, and in 2 years he will celebrate his 600th anniversary. They started 1422, so your continent still was not
14 what?
1422.
Oh,
Lovely beer.
yeah. Here it was
Also difficult to pronounce. Rittmeier, Brauerei Rittmeier in Hallandorf.
Rittmeier.
Yes. Come to Germany, come to Bavaria, or Franconia, to be precise.
Nice.
But the city is Nuremberg, which is known for the
Nuremberg.
trials after the war. And sausages and Lebkuchen. And we also have a whiskey distillery there.
Nice.
Yeah, a good one.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, so this bottle almost never gets to the table
Good.
and to the glass. It's one of those that the funny thing here in this program, Los Bizcochos, we started about 4 years ago.
Okay.
This is gonna tell you a lot what kind of program this is.
Okay.
Okay, what kind of whiskey program. The first episode ever was this bottle.
Wow. Just started right away.
It was
And you made the people envy because you cannot buy it. You have to fly over to the distillery.
well.
And then you can buy it.
Also, you can guess that there was no people.
Ah, okay.
Usually, when you make a channel like that, you know, let's start with the red label,
Yeah.
and then we do this and that. You know, you make like a plan for a growth. We didn't.
Okay.
The second episode was half hour long or 25 minutes of me inside Lagavulin warehouse, just me and Iain.
MacArthur.
Yes,
Nickname?
Pinky.
Good. Because Iain is like
Yeah.
still working there, to my knowledge.
He's still there.
It's crazy. And his brother is at Kolila.
His brother?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
When you think you have problems to understand him, because his English is a bit, or kind of English, that's nothing compared to his brother.
Really?
Yes. And my ear is quite acquainted to Scottish, but this was nothing.
Well, this episode is completely translated manually. I did the episode at the beginning when I had time for that. For when people, the viewers, because you know,
okay, good. Into Spanish. Did you fill it yourself with a Valinch? Or
well, this is the Laphroaig one. I did, yes, I did.
I refused. I have a bottle myself.
No, I think I didn't do it with the Valinch. I think they put it like in a jar or something else.
Okay.
They did it, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
or something like that.
I forced John Campbell to do it for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't there
Yeah.
when I was there.
I got mine 5 years ago, 2015. I
Yeah.
was there.
So again, this is a 1998
98.
at 55.1 ABV.
Good. You don't use water usually when you...
Yeah. I want to bring some.
Because I'm a water boy. The timorous beastie glasses, Springbank.
Yeah. All right.
Laphroaig whiskey. 3 companies. Good.
It's how it is here. It's in this program we talk about the industry.
Okay.
We're not like just this brand and you know, and
Good.
and we're very sincere.
So you're gonna torture me? I just look at it and without...
No. Welcome. I don't know how much.
Well, I smell it neat first.
Okay.
But usually I'm a guy who is using a lot of water when I assess whiskies professionally
Of course, because there's a lot of.
for competitions. Things I usually water it down to around about 35%.
35. Okay.
Yeah, and after 100 spirits, I'm fed up.
So it would be nice that as we taste this, you can tell people a bit about like your history in this industry. So they're like, okay, so who is this guy?
Yeah, I'm Bernhard from Germany. I worked in a cocktail bar many years ago. In fact, I started 85. And I was interested in whiskey in the beginning. We gave lectures and things like that, and I had the great pleasure to become a keeper of the Quaich already in 1996.
Keeper of the Quaich 1996.
And my roll number is something 800 and a little bit more, so we were about 800. I don't know it by 800. No, something a bit more than 840 something.
And you know what is the number?
Well, the roll number is the first keeper has roll number 1. The second keeper has roll number 2.
But no, I mean at this moment, well, like
2,600 something.
okay.
Although those who have died still count, so
Yeah.
it's not this
It
many
should.
keeper. It's about 2,500, but really on the whole world. And after 10 years being a keeper and being active and doing things for Scotch whisky, there's a chance to become a master of the Quaich.
This is a new thing here.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Master of the Quaich.
Quaich. Quaich is the drinking vessel. You know this? Yeah.
But how do you pronounce it? Quaich.
Quaich.
Quaich. Quaich.
Pretty easy for Spanish-speaking people.
Yeah, Quaich. Quaich.
Quaich.
The things that we see the CH and we go ch.
Yeah, no, it's Quaich.
We
not
tend to go
Quaich.
ch.
And the word Quaich, the Gaelic, the German word Kelch sounds similar, and a Kelch is also something like that, but usually with a foot like this. But Quaich with the 2 handles. Yeah. And this is the traditional Scottish drinking vessel, and so the keepers made this their symbol. Keepers of the Quaich.
You take that picture holding it.
Yeah, you get this as a present, the small Quaich. You
Yeah.
get as a present. And well, I became a master then 11 years after I became a keeper. So I already celebrated my 10th anniversary of a master, 2007.
So you are officially the first master.
17.
First master of the Quaich in Los Bizcochos. Yes.
Yes!
They do exist.
Yes. The crowd is waiting in front of the door for cheering.
They will demand
Yeah.
an online tasting. Your favorites.
So, but usually
I would like to follow your method.
do whatever you want. That's an important thing in my opinion. I mean, there are people who say you must not dilute a whiskey down, especially not below 40, because then at least, technically it's not a whiskey anymore, because it must have 40% at least. So when you dilute it down to 35, it's not a whiskey anymore, technically. In a tasting, or also, I mean, there's only one way to drink whiskey. It should give you pleasure.
Pleasure, yeah.
There's no discussion about that. And all experts I know, I mean, one thing is being a master blender of one of these companies and looking for the quality assurance that a Johnny Walker Black Label tastes always the same. That's a different approach. And I saw master blenders of big companies at a bar somewhere down in England after a competition with a tumbler. And they had a cheap, well, let's say a good and affordable whiskey is, for example, Famous Grouse. So this guy had a Famous Grouse with ice cubes in his tumbler, added a splash of water, and was the happiest man in the world. I won't tell you his name, but he still is one of the most famous people in the whiskey business, and I'm pretty sure that everybody who's watching this has at least drunken one bottle that
from his signature.
So, but even those people, they can appreciate
There's moments of simplicity.
Yeah, exactly.
For whiskey.
Yeah. I mean, this is still very pungent in the nose.
Yeah.
The good thing about this now is I can swallow it. At competitions, you spit it out. And even
so you do spit out at competitions?
Everything.
Because
even
it's too
the
much.
40. Yeah. Well, one thing is too much. The other thing is, at these competitions, the company is sending in their bottles. They pay also for the competition gets money for every
for
bottle
them to participate.
Yes. So, and of course, the judges have to give their best and have to assess every product with the same professionality. So if you're drunk after the fifth, everything is wonderful.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way how it works.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a kind of social control as well in the room, because there are other professionals. I mean, you cannot.
Yeah, you don't want to make a fool of yourself either.
There were occasions. I mean, I'm judging everywhere in the world. There were occasions that somebody was tipsy and they're not invited the next year. It's very easy. Gone. Or if you. Also, what I had a few times that somebody, it depends on how it's organized. But sometimes some people say, I don't want to give a figure on this product. And the rest has already said, well, I give 85. And then somebody says, I don't want to give a number. The reason behind that is that he or she recognized her own product. And she doesn't want to get compromised amongst the colleagues that because it's my product, I give it more. Or I had also something that I had master blenders that gave an average less than the rest of the group because it was their product. Because they never want that their colleagues or whatever say, it's yours, you know that, so you give it a high mark. No. So at some competitions, this is very, very strict and very also. I mean, when the guy who is making Johnny Walker Black Label, the lady who invented Blue Label, for example, sitting next to the guy who makes Dalmore, and the guy from Bruichladdich, they know each other for ages. Sometimes they don't like each other, but sometimes, well, in the evening you go out having a drink. They're professional. Yeah. Yes, and they're professional. So at some of these competitions, it is very, very professional. There are others. Sometimes.
So how did you get into this thing of being a judge, being in competitions?
I was recommended by a guy who was part of a competition, and he also had the first proper whiskey shop in London.
Okay.
Whiskey shop is Milroy's of Soho. The shop still exists, but it was founded by a guy called Wallace Milroy, and he told the competition at that time, we're now talking about 97. Try Bernhard. He's good.
Okay.
So I got an initial checking. So there was a head judge, gave me 3 products.
So they test you to see if you can judge.
Yeah, they did. Which is good. And of course, the next test is the first week. And when they re-invite you, you pass the test, more or less. Right? I mean, at these competitions often, okay, let's say we are 7 people, and we have to rate this product. And 6 of these 7 people say they give 91, 93, like that. And one person says 60.
Okay, so
this is totally different. Then usually on the table, the boss of the table says, okay, 60. Why? Explain. Or the other way around. 5 people say it's 65, and one says, it's 100.
100.
Yeah. So then they have to explain. And sometimes we had one discussion once. This was the guy said we had a whiskey which was slightly smoky, phenols, and a little bit of botrytic, but very, very hard. A little bit of some thought sulfury, and it was outstanding. It was lovely stuff. Great. Wow. 6 out of 7 were there. Bam. And one gave, no, 40. This guy had some sulfur in the whiskey. The problem now is that this guy is 10 times more sensible to sulfur than you and me. I am, for example, more...
it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm, for example, quite sensitive to a thing, botrytic acid. It's like rancid butter.
Okay.
And this happens in beer. For some beers from, for example, from the Czechoslovakian area, Pilsner beer or Budvar, typical Budweiser beer, not the American shit. Budweiser from Budvar in Czechoslovakia. This is a kind of, and that type of beer, it has to be. It's a kind of the genetics. If you drink a German dark beer, and this is...
like it goes with the style.
Yeah, but basically it's a fault. In every other beer, it's a fault.
Okay.
And I'm more sensible than most people to especially that.
Yeah.
Which is not funny, because you're sitting with your 5 best friends in a pub. Let's have the first beer. We had a German style. Yeah, wow, today it's nice. And 4 say, yeah, today is nice. And I sit there, no, it's not. So sometimes advantage, sometimes not. So this is one of these things. So sometimes you discuss, but usually it's making notes, marks, and then the round is over and everybody gives its points to the head on the table, or sometimes you type it in directly. That really depends on. Basically, you can taste only 5 things: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami.
Umami.
Yeah. Okay. This has to do with evolution. If you were not sensible to bitter things, our ancestors 200,000 years ago, and they were eating everything that is bitter in nature, usually these things are poisonous. Yeah. So they didn't have a chance to bring on their genes because they died before. So for bitterness, for example, we are more sensitive. We have more different receptors on the tongue than for sugar. Sugar we have, to my knowledge, only 3, because sugar is always good.
Yeah, and that's mostly like the tip of the tongue, right?
No. This is an old story. It's everywhere. It's a bit more maybe, but it's not that you only have sugar here.
Yeah.
But it's only 5 things. In the discussion is how about fat, for example, that you feel fat in a certain way, and maybe also carbohydrates. Well, the rest is with the nose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the important thing. That's also the reason why we usually dilute down, because the alcohol keeps the aromas. Yeah. So when you dilute down, it comes out, because you can only smell what comes out of the glass directly.
Yeah.
Or when you hear it in your mouth from behind.
Through,
retronasal. I don't know if it's the correct pronunciation. And there's also a cultural background, has also to do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, let's say...
I grew up here.
Yeah.
You grew up
in
there.
Germany. Okay.
And so, some whiskeys take me to specific memories from specific areas.
This is also very interesting, if you mention that. The part of the brain where you store these memories of smell are near a part where you also store feelings. Mm-hmm. And so that means sometimes when it's connected, you smell something, and this remembers you to a scene where you've been a little boy or a little girl, whatever.
Yeah.
Or the other way around can also happen. If you have strong memories of something, then you smell the cinnamon cake of your grandmother again, but your grandmother since 20 years is on the cemetery. Things like that. So this is very, very interesting.
It is.
And it doesn't usually make any sense to argue with someone about something. We can okay, you smell this, I smell that, but it's not a fault if you don't smell that, or
it's personal. Yeah.
And there's also something concerning the social background or social cultural background. For example, I sampled spirits in India as well, in Mumbai. And they have a special type they call brandy, Indian brandy, which is huge in amount of drinking. But for a European with a background in real brandy, it tastes a bit strange.
So do they do it from grapes?
Sometimes.
Okay.
They do also everything from sugarcane.
Yeah.
I think the leading whiskey in India is a sugarcane spirit. I thought then this brandy would work wonderful with chicken tikka or a masala or something.
Uh-huh.
It would not work with a roast of pig, what we used to eat. So this is also something which influenced that. So
it's
culture, experience, and talent.
Yeah.
And also your stress level. I mean, when you're coming home from a bad day at work, then a Laphroaig will probably taste different than when you come back from work and your boss said, "Hey, from next month you get $100 more," something like that. Yeah, it's not set in stone. Do you say set in stone? I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, we actually say it literally in Spanish. Escrito en piedra. No está escrito en piedra.
Yeah. In Germany we say, "Es ist nicht in Stein gemeißelt." Meißel is this stone device where you hammer things into the stone.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, we don't say written, but meißeln. But anyway, all this sensory thing is not.
So
escrito
en piedra.
En piedra.
Escribo, it's I am writing.
Yeah.
Escrito, it's like it's written.
Yeah. Piedra is the food, isn't it?
Piedra is it's pie.
Kidding. Have you ever tried a Laphroaig from the 60s?
No.
Try to get one.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah, just a regular 10-year-old one. Totally different, less smoky, much more iodine. Very good, very good. Ooh. I had the pleasure of getting a sip once.
So, in this business of... Okay, yeah, so back... What is your experience with this whiskey? What? I mean, the sound you made...
The big... Well...
What's positive?
Age, 19?
27.
98, 2008. Yeah, okay. Wow. The biggest difference to those older Laphroaigs I have is that it's still quite smoky.
Yeah.
Which it tends to go away. And what astonished me most, or what gave me the most pleasure is, although there's water in it, it's still very silky, oily, creamy. It's very soft in the mouth. I mean, if you drink a 10-year-old Laphroaig, which I like, it's a bit more rough. I mean, of course, it's much younger.
Yeah.
But this is it's very nice.
Yeah, I actually put more water than I usually do, and
Yeah.
it took it really nice.
The thing is with older whiskies, I mean, you have to be careful with water. Sometimes, well, I'm still the opinion that if something is cask strength, okay, first sip maybe without water, but I'm still in the opinion that a little bit of water would help. But especially when they're older, they are a bit more delicate. So there's a danger that they break down when you
Okay,
add too much
yeah.
water. That's a danger with the older whiskies, in my experience. But the only thing what you can do then is too much water, add more whiskey.
Put more whiskey, yeah. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
In this business of being in competitions, being a judge, this steps into like a topic of chemistry a
Yeah.
bit. Are you expected to know that officially, or
As a judge,
as a judge? Like,
this also depends on the competition. Okay, I probably, due to experience, a lot of things I read and a lot of things I've seen, I can explain the one or the other thing. And another judge maybe just smells and tastes it and cannot explain it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's also a thing I would like to mention. Describing what you smell and taste is per se difficult because, okay, audience, look at the color of his shirt. What's the color? You have a name for it. It's black. Nobody of you thought, that's the color of the sky over Panama when the moon is not shining.
yeah,
No, you say it's black.
black.
Good. This is red and white. When we come to this, we don't have a word like that. There are no words. There is always a description. It is like the vanilla, fresh Tahitian vanilla, or a black or artificial vanilla, or it's the smell of hazelnuts, or the smell whatsoever. But you don't have a word for that.
Yeah, it was very
That's-
subjective.
It makes it more difficult. That's the point. And of course, there is a certain amount of subjective. Yeah. So this makes these things a bit difficult. But back to the question, no, basically you're not expected to explain why something is like it is. You have to detect it. I mean, when we do tastings for competitions, it's not that we are having fun and trying to find the thing we like most. Usually, products are in flights. So one flight maybe Isla whiskies from 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
And then you can get 10 or 15 whiskies. So what you know is Isla whiskey from 5 to 10 years, and usually it's bottles regular strength 40 to 45, and if it's stronger, they tell you. So sample number 8 has 58%, for example. Or sometimes the high proof is extra anyway. So then, okay, you have a certain thing in your brain, Isla whiskey from 5 to 10 should be like this, and then you sample them. So if you now have an Isla whiskey tasting like this one, in the category 5 to 10, technically you have to mark it down, because it's not fitting in the category. Although you may like it.
Yeah.
The other way around as well. If you have a 30-year-old whiskey taste like a 5-year-old,
Yeah, because it's about the category and about the style.
so the medals you find sometimes on products, they are not a proof that you will like it. They are a proof that what is written on the label, the promise written on the label, is fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
This is a gold medal proving.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's never about the personal taste of a judge. Never ever. And I mean, I like whiskey, I like rum, I like cognac, I like gin. This is fine. At home, I usually do not drink a variety of bitters or a variety of advocat, egg cream liqueur, or things like, Bailey's, whiskey cream liqueur. One Bailey's, sometimes nice. 15 different Baileys. Ooh, let's work. And you have to get rid of each. So tasting is not always fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes the strangest product I ever had, two. One was a gin from South Africa, and they gave us the botanicals they were in. And there it says, the botanicals of this gin were sourced from elephant dung. Maybe you translate that. And the other spirit, there was a competition in Germany called Craft Spirit competition, so only small producers. And I think I had 45 products. And in the middle, there was a garlic spirit.
Ooh. I saw one in Poland.
Probably. This one was, I think it was from Estonia, but I'm not sure. And I gave the highest marks I could give because it was impossible to make it better, in my opinion. This was what you expect from a garlic spirit. Garlic, bam, lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that besides cooking. And of course, it's a pain in the ass if you have this in the middle of a tasting, because then you go out in the front and have half an hour break and drink a lot of water and eat a lot of bread to get rid of all this garlic, because the next one is probably a fruit spirit made from pears or plums or whatever. 89, so this was Mr. Henderson who distilled that. He was the guy who invented Friends of Laphroaig.
Who?
Henderson, I think Iain. He was the distillery manager at that time. And he invented this. If you ever buy Laphroaig, look in the bottle, there's this little thing, a little leaflet, and you can become a friend of Laphroaig with this unique number, and you get a piece of land.
Yeah.
And if you go there, you get a dram, and you get the flag of your country. I'm not sure if they have Panamanian or something.
I put it there.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
Yeah,
There was one famous Japanese guy who had his land next to his fiancée, and he proposed her on his land.
Okay, so to finish this, I'm going to serve you a little bit more of something else.
Okay, good.
But I will not mention what it is. And it's not to guess, it's just...
Okay.
It's just Isla.
Yeah, but the water is very soft. Is it your tap water?
No, I have this filter that has like a clay.
Okay.
It's like a...
Good.
Well, there's a piece of cork in there.
Doesn't matter. Concerning cork, I had in my whole career, I had 3 whiskies with corkage. So they smelled corky.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3. Which is not a lot. It's good. But what I often have with younger Isla whiskies, I have a certain sweetness from the grains, which for me is boosted due to the smokiness, which I do not have if I, let's say, a whiskey of the same age from Speyside or Lowland or whatever. Maybe even from the same malt, from the same maltings or whatever. This smoke indicates, brings for me more sugar out. I don't know why, but
It is sweeter than the previous.
And I have more of the grainy stuff of the malt itself, barley.
Yeah, definitely younger.
Also quite creamy. I mean, the color of this one is interesting because, well, usually it's ex-bourbon oak, but very dark, even for 27.
Well, yeah.
I mean, at that time, at 98, nowadays Laphroaig is using only Maker's Mark barrels, to my knowledge. At that time, there were different barrels as well involved, but now it's Maker's Mark only. Makes it cheaper as well, same company.
So we're tasting a little blend that I made.
You made a blend yourself?
Yeah, just,
Okay.
And here it is.
What we have a whiskey club, and I have 2 barrels.
What's the name of the whiskey club?
The Most Venerable Order of the Highland Circle.
Ooh, that's a
difficult.
solid name.
Yes, and we have 2 barrels. Mine. The one is 20 liters ex-sherry oak, which was made for me at the Speyside Cooperage. Okay. And the other is a 15-liter ex-sherry oak made from Gonzales Beers.
Oh, I was there.
And what we do is usually when we have leftovers, the smoky one comes in the bigger barrel and the non-smoky is in the smaller one. And then we have a living cask, which is quite good.
Nice.
But my sherry cask was a bit exhausted, so what I did was I filled it up with sherry at the moment and leave it there. Okay. 16, 12, one more, another 15, Bowmore, 15-year-old. The actual 15-year-old is very nice. Single cask, I don't know, Portletti 12, Artbeck 10, Colila. But you don't know which amount you...
Same amount, all of them.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Good. I mean, it's not all distilleries from Islay, but
No, it's not all. It's not all. It's just Isla stuff. Well, you know what? Before we filmed this, we were here talking and tasting other stuff, and
yeah.
I must say that it's very nice to meet you. It's been an interesting evening
Thank you.
here, good couple hours, and hopefully a new friendship, and hopefully when I am in Germany next time, or in Europe,
You're most welcome.
which I hope I can get to.
There are a handful.
See your club.
There's a handful of distilleries worth a visit.
That would be nice. I tend to travel and film it and show them.
One of the, in my opinion, one of the best whiskey distillers is around the corner from German whiskey distillers.
Okay.
He's also a beer brewer, so it's nice. And the other one is basically the second best, so it's worth a visit. And there will be some history and my whiskey club, of course.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, and I must say that this master of the Quaich had for the first time today, and here on this table, Buchanan's 12-year-old.
Of course, the one I don't know.
You see,
It was
it's
nice.
not in
No, it's not.
Scotland or
No. In Germany you can buy it. No, it's nice. I think it was a nice whiskey, easy drinking,
right.
fruity.
Yeah, uncomplicated.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you for being here,
my pleasure.
and gracias a ustedes. Nos vemos en la próxima.
Next time with subtitles.
Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao.